and welcome back to the Journey to the FarLands. All right, let's see here. We got boats, and beds, and stuff, and things, and so on. So let's get out of here. Oh, yeah, I'd forgotten this little situation. Okay, so block that off, turn to the west, and proceed onward to the FarLands, where we continue to journey to the FarLands in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, raising money for Child's Play charity. And let's see, the world is currently at, oops, just a second. There we go. One more dead creeper. The only good creeper's a dead one, so he's a good creeper. Anyway, the size of the world. Okay, currently, right now, it is, as of the beginning of this episode, at 2,427.0 megabytes. And also, in keeping with recent discovery from mining information to reconstruct the Journey to the FarLands log, I have decided I'm going to go ahead and keep track of the number of Minecraft days that has passed since leaving spawn. And right now, this is the morning of the 188th day since leaving spawn. So that's cool. Making some progress. And speaking of progress, the fundraising aspect of this, like I said, raising funds. Shut up! Jeez! These cows just get kind of loud. Anyway, the fundraising aspect of this, raising funds for Child's Play charity. The status of that is that the idea is to raise $6,346.45 for Child's Play. And right now we're at $162.62, which is 2.56% of that goal. And we're going to get there. It may take a little bit of a while. It's already taken a large bit of a while, but we're going to get there. It's going to happen. And when it does, it's going to be glorious. Yes, absolutely. Anyway, proceeding onward. Let's see, what has been going on in the world? Well, let's see. I want to keep it light, so I'm not going to talk about politics and world events and so on, because, frankly, regardless of whatever else it is, after a while, it just plain gets depressing. So, let's not go there. In any event, oh boy, let's see if I can walk around some of this. In any event, let's see. I have been kind of busy on Hermitcraft recently in another one of those gigantic, ginormously huge, unbelievably large projects that I seem to have a talent for getting myself into. In this case, I have a structure on the Hermitcraft world where basically it is a giant diamond-shaped structure known as the Diamond. And recently I've been upgrading it by replacing parts of it with diamond block. And I've got this idea in my head now that I want it to have a framework that consists primarily of diamond block that outlines the whole thing and frames the shape. And I got a good bunch of progress getting that started. I've used probably just short of 3 stacks of diamond block on it so far. And if you think about it, 3 stacks, that's 192 diamond block, right? 64, 128, 192, yeah. 192 diamond blocks used in that structure so far. And I've done a little bit of estimating here just this morning as to what it's going to take me to finish what I want to do. I figure at least another 2 to 2.5 stacks of diamond block to finish outlining the framework of the thing. And then I wanted beacon on top of it. And the beacon itself, the beacon structure, the pyramid structure that goes under it, needs to be diamond block, of course. So what I want to do there is make that all diamond block, and that's going to take another just a little bit over 2.5 stacks of diamond block to achieve that. Now I know, yes, I could build it up out of iron block and then just let the outside be diamond, but I would know. You know, you know, who would know, who's going to know if you build it out of iron or something and just give it a skin of diamond block? I would know. That's who. And so that means a lot of diamond block. And while there is a certain amount that you can get from running shops and selling things and so on, that's cool. You can get a lot for that. And you can get a fair amount for services and so on. Although I don't necessarily have the really awesome building skills and whatnot for services, so I'm not sure what I would do for that. But it basically comes down to the lion's share of this is going to have to come from mining. Fortunately, I'm a person that enjoys branch mining. I find it relaxing, peaceful, and it's cool. And very productive too, generally speaking, since that's where I got all the diamond block I've used so far. But in all told, it works out to something like, I'm figuring 450, perhaps as many as 500 diamond block is going to be needed. And if you take 500 diamond block, or even 450, and multiply that by 9 diamonds to make a block, that equals one heck of a lot of diamonds is what that equals. It really does. And yeah. So recently I went ahead and I did what several people have been encouraging me to do, even though I wasn't really sure about, you know, I didn't think it was going to be all that super productive and helpful and whatnot. I decided to go ahead, like folks have been encouraging me to do, and I got a beacon and set it up with haste 2 in the area where I'm mining. And well, in one respect, it is helping, because insta-mining is fast, obviously, and getting a lot of decent stuff out of that. But I've noticed something. The tools that I'm using that have the mending enchant on it, they're not lasting as long. And it's very simple to understand why they're not lasting as long. It's because well, normally when using mending enchanted tools, making it a point to not be using armor that has mending enchant on it, because it seems that that stuff manages to get some of the XP that would otherwise go towards the auto repair of pickaxes. So, like I said, you know, let's see, where was I? Oh, yeah. So, basically, mining in my regular branch mine style with the pickaxe with efficiency 5 and fortune 3 and unbreaking 3 and mending on it, I never, ever, ever have to replace the pickaxe or take time to go to an XP farm and get it repaired. However, this is not the case when using a beacon for what is referred to as speed mining, wherein you use the haste to effect off of the beacon, and you start at a certain level and you basically dig up everything in that level and the levels below it and so on. And therefore you get all of the ores, you get all the diamonds and the redstone and the coal and the iron and gold and so on and so forth. And that's great. But there is a much higher ratio. You're breaking a whole lot more things that don't give XP. A whole lot more non-experience giving blocks are being broken. And so therefore, the pickaxe cannot be repaired with mending. They cannot mend fast enough to reach the point where you're never going to have to repair them. I've got 3 of those pickaxes, and they all have fortune 3, efficiency 5, and unbreaking 3, and mending. And working with the beacon, I have had to take, you know, I have gotten to a point where each pickaxe has gotten its durability low enough that I had to stop using it because I was getting to the point where I was risking breaking it. And I don't want to do that because that's a pain. That's not good. And so I use it until it's ready to break, put it away and get out another one, and just do the same. And that's cool. I went through all three pickaxes that way, and then had to stop and hit up an XP farm, get them repaired, and go back to mining. Honestly, while insta-mining is great and cool, it really is, when you're doing so much insta-mining of things that don't give you the XP required to repair the tool as you go, that's not so cool. Ooh, a little steep there. And so, there's a way up. I'm coming to the conclusion that while the beacon mining, if you will, or speed mining, whatever you want to call it, I'm calling it beacon mining, but that's probably not right, because beacon mining means, kind of sounds like you're trying to mine beacons. And while that would be cool, I don't expect it to actually ever be a thing. Okay. Another boat. And moving on. Anyway, I've come to the conclusion that I think I'm going to be using the beacon just a little bit differently than the way I understand most people use them for mining. It's still set up, still working. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to mine my normal branch mine style. And for the portion of those branches that I am within range of the beacon, I'll get the benefit of the Instamine. But by doing it in my normal branch mine style, I won't be burning up a tool. And that means I don't have to stop and go run to an XP farm to get it fixed, or switch out to different tools and so on. I can just use the one forever. And so that's what I'm going to be doing with that. And I just realized I've just been talking for way too long about mining in Minecraft, which I'm sure is probably not all that interesting to most folks. And so let's change the subject here. Oh, I know. I saw an interesting question recently. It wasn't asked to me. I forget where it was I saw it. But the question was, which are you, an Oscar Madison or a Felix Unger? Okay, reference time. Old TV show. Situation comedy from the early 1970s. Tony Randall starring as Felix Unger, and I believe it was Jack Klugman that was Oscar Madison. Divorced guys sharing an apartment. One of them is the classic, in fact, probably the origin of the whole theme or meme or whatever of the neat freak. And the other one is very, very much the other end of the spectrum. Basically, the one guy has to have everything just so all clean and neat and tidy and orderly and fat and so on. And the other one is a total slob. You know, there's things in his refrigerator that are liable to achieve sentience sometime soon. And, you know, that kind of thing. You know, is there something in your refrigerator that could achieve sentience? That could qualify as an independent life form? Yeah, well, I've had that happen a time or two, almost. Well, not literally, but I've had things in my refrigerator that very probably shouldn't have been. Yeah. You know, and the show was called The Odd Couple. There's been, well, there was originally a Broadway play, and then there was a movie, and then there was the sitcom, and I think there was been a couple of other things based on it. Originally written by Neil Simon. Very, and it was cool. A funny little time waster show. But the whole thing is, which are you? Are you the person that needs to have everything perfect and just so? Or are you the guy that just throws it wherever it lands and... well, I shouldn't say the guy, because I know the ladies watch too, so, and this can apply to them too, just as much. Me? As much as I would like and prefer to have everything nice and neat and orderly, and everything is just so, and organized perfectly and cleaned up perfectly, and everything's just right. I would love to be like that. I can never manage it for more than 2 or 3 days because it's just too much of a bother in a lot of ways, and because it goes against my own nature big time, because by nature I am, really, I have to admit it, I'm a slob. A neat freak would just about go totally bonkers to see my house. There's a reason that I never show it, the interior, on camera in vlogs, or at least I show as little as I can get away with. And that is because, like I said, slob. I am one of, it's not a case of living in filth. I don't go to that extreme. But I am a slobby person. I when it comes time to, I get in and I take off a coat, I'll throw it wherever. And I take off a shirt, throw it, toss it, and wherever it lands, that's good with me. As long as it doesn't land in something that it really doesn't need to be in, as long as it doesn't make a mess worse in a big way. But if it makes the mess worse in a small way, I don't really care. My only concern is, can I find it when I need it? When I do laundry and I take the clean clothes home, do I fold everything and put it in the laundry basket at the laundromat? No, I don't. I dump it all in there and I take it home. And then I don't bother folding things and putting them away and hanging them up and putting everything in closets and dresser drawers or wherever else people store clothing that they're not using at the moment. No, no, no. You know what I do with it? I think maybe I shouldn't have gone this way, is where I do with it. Let's see. Okay. What I do with it is I take the thing into a bedroom that is not used, and I upend it on the bed and just splotch everything right there. Don't care. It's all in one place. I can find what I'm looking for if I need to. If I'm looking for a particular thing, that's good enough for me. I don't need to take time and fold everything and just so and put everything in a certain place and so on. Nah. Just throw it there on an unused bed and leave it there. That's good enough. And that's basically the way I am. I'm very much, in a lot of ways, a good enough, it's good enough for government work kind of thing, Or, let's put it another way that lots of guys will understand and lots of women will hear it and go and cringe. And that is, I am a single guy that lives alone, and my house looks like it. What the? That's mighty little strange there. Actually, let's get a shot of it from one end. That's weird. That is some weird terrain generation there. A little strip of grass down the beach. Yeah. Just a little bit on the weird side. So, the question remains, which are you? Are you the neat freak? Or are you the person that really doesn't care when it comes to things like that?
You know, is it worth all the time and effort and energy and fussing about this and that? Is it worth all of that to have everything perfectly neatly arranged? Or is it the kind of thing that, okay, maybe that would be nice, but I can't be bothered to go to all that effort? Or maybe I don't have time for all that effort, or whatever, any kind of reason like that. It's an interesting question, I think. Because when it comes down to it, we're all one or the other. We all reach a point of either we care about these things or we don't. There isn't really a whole lot of middle ground. At least I don't think so. I could be wrong. That's happened a couple of 3 times. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, indeed. There we go. There's another one of those little weird stripes. Yeah, that's weird. One on the beach, and here's a little piece of beach right in the terrain. And I'm wondering if the beach, the strip of green on the beach, does it match with this? Is it like a mirror image of that? I don't know. I don't care enough to go back all that distance to find out, but it would be kind of funny if it was. Anyway, so there we are. We travel through life and we're either an Oscar Madison or a Felix Unger. I think there's probably more Oscar Madisons in the world than there are Felix Ungers. Yeah. I'm thinking that's probably the case. It's like right now, I can't be bothered to make a boat because this really isn't all that far. But I don't want to walk all the way around because that's going farther to get less distance. Yeah. Oh, boy. You know, one of those days. Just sort of a little bit of an off day. Of course, part of it is the weather. The cold has begun to return. Overnight temperatures are dropping down into the 30s. And that's no fun when you can't turn a furnace on. Or, well, actually, I could turn a furnace on, but nothing would happen because it doesn't have any fuel. Oh, boy. Most of the time, I don't care too awfully much, except when it gets down into my joints and I find it difficult to move. You know, that sort of thing. Doggone it, the terrain has got a lot of up and down on it today. Oh, no. Another 2-block wide strip. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Sort of looks like one. Anyway. It's probably a good thing that we're getting towards the end of this day because I'm starting to ramble aimlessly, I can tell. And that's never good because I don't think it, in my opinion at least, it doesn't make for really entertaining anything. But I don't know. Perhaps in my aimless wandering, my verbally aimless wandering, I will accidentally manage to say something funny or entertaining or something. I don't know. I kind of don't expect it. Okay, what I do expect is that when I get to the other side of this hill, I need to dig in for a hidey hole here. And I think this is going to be a good choice. And there we go. Okay, good. This way I can be facing west when I get out of here. That's the reason for that. Okay, get dug in here. And, oh yeah, that's right. This is the part where I'm supposed to remind everyone to stop by TinFoilChef.com/donate or the actual official Journey to the FarLands homepage and donate to Child's Play Charity, a very worthy organization that keeps that works to get toys, books, and games into the hands of kids in hospitals, especially long hospital stays and children's hospitals and so on, because we all know how really boring, scary, and intimidating and nightmare-causing and so on that kind of thing can be. And this helps them to deal with it and not have such a huge, scary time by taking their minds off of the problems and the reasons they're there and how scary this is and scary that is and so on. And in any event, thanks for watching. Take it easy. I am out of here.